It is actually good night, and on most occasions I would say good night to you guys. But I'm coming to you live from London, and a very nice, bright, shiny London. As you can see from the sunlight that's coming onto my face. At the moment, it is about 5:30 in the evening here in the UK, and where I am, let me just quickly show you where I am, just to give you a rough idea of where I'm coming to you live from. This is right behind, or right to my right hand side, is the Oval Cricket Ground, the venue of the WTC final. So first things first, a very warm welcome, and this is just to let you guys know that I'm going to be here for the next 5, 6, 7 days, bringing you all the latest updates right from the UK, right from London, right from the Oval Cricket Ground, as I just showed you, which is to my right. Lots of things happened today. I landed here about 5-6 hours ago, and since then been very, very busy trying to arrange a lot of things. But first, I know what you guys are here for. You want some sort of updates about the Indian team. So let me tell you, the Indian team practiced today in the morning from 9:30 to 12:30, and as soon as the practice was done, there was no press conference. Let me give you a rough idea of what they did in practice. So one thing that the Indian team focused a lot on during their practice was catching in the slips. So slip fielding was one drill that they did for a very, very long time. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that you've seen in the past there have been issues with India's catching, especially slip fielding. So that's something they worked on. Few players that really were in that slip fielding drill were Shubman Gill, Virat Kohli, Cheteshwar Pujara, as well as Ajinkya Rahane. Rahane, as we know, has been one of the standout slip fielders, so he was there. That's some sort of good news for the Indian team if Rahane is going to be there fielding. So they spent a lot of time practicing their slip catching. So that is one thing that the Indian team did. The other thing that's very obvious, as you can see from me and the attire that I'm wearing, I'm dressed in a t-shirt. When I landed here, I was told by the pilot that the temperature is, I landed around 11 o'clock in the morning, and I was told the temperature outside is 16 degrees. It's been anything but 16 degrees. I mean, it is right now about 21, 22 degrees in London. But as you can see, I'm in my t-shirt. 21, 22 degrees in India is cold. It's cold because the sun is not harsh. There is also, of course, the other layer of pollution that you have, after which there isn't a lot of heat. If it says ground temperature about 22, 23 in India, you feel very cold. So when I heard 16 degrees when I was landing, and now that it is 22, 23 degrees in the early evening, one would think that it would be very cold, but it's not, because the sun here is very harsh. As you can see, while I'm standing there, I can barely keep my eyes open. Sun is very harsh, and it has been like this for the last few days. Now that becomes very important. So the first update that I'd like to give you is, that's a bright, hot day, a typical summer's day. Even in summers, you get grey skies sometimes, you get a lot of rains, and which will not be good news for the Indian team. Luckily, this is a hot summer day. It's been like that for the last few days, and most importantly, I was speaking to the groundsmen, speaking to the local people here, the next few days also are going to be bright and sunny. Now that's great news for the Indian team. These are conditions that they will like, not only when they are playing, but also leading up to the test match. If you get this bright sun, it is going to bake down on the pitch, and it will do its magic on the pitch, whereby if there isn't too much of a moisture, if it isn't too much of swing and sieve movement, you know which team is going to enjoy those conditions a bit more. So that's the first bit of news. In terms of weather, I think the Indian team have lucked out. I think the fans have lucked out. You can expect to see full cricket, as in 5-6 days, if it goes to the reserve day, in case there is any sort of rain. But 5 days of good cricket, I think you can expect. Maybe the result comes before that, but weather-wise, you got thumbs up. And not just for watching cricket, but weather-wise thumbs up, because these are conditions that Indians would really like. Remember, there hasn't been a test match ever since Test cricket has been played here for hundreds of years at the Oval. There has never been a test match in June. So the first time we'll see a test match. Usually it's the end of the series. You get it in July or maybe August. First time a test match in June. So we'll see how the conditions is. But right now the June is looking good. It's looking nice, bright and sunny. Coming back to the Indian team, practice, as I mentioned earlier, they focused a lot on slip catching. Then they did a lot of fielding drills. In terms of batting, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma were the first ones out. There were 4 pitches that were given to the Indian team, 4 strips, and they practiced for a very, very long time as far as their batting is concerned. Both of them looked pretty good in their batting. And then you had Umesh Yadav bowling a lot. Umesh Yadav batted as well. R. Ashwin was bowling for an extended period. Mohammad Shami bowled a lot in the nets and was bowling very, very well. Got a few very recognized Indian batsmen out also in the nets. So that's how good Mohammad Shami was looking with the red ball. They're all practicing with the Duke's ball. In terms of bowling, what was one thing was very interesting is Ravindra Jadeja actually did not bowl today in the nets. The full team was out. It was not an optional training session. The full team was out in full flow and they practiced. Just that Ravindra Jadeja did not bowl a lot. Ashwin did, but Ravindra Jadeja did a lot of batting today. Maybe tomorrow things change. Maybe tomorrow he comes out and does some batting as well. Donald Trump Cricket says, you saw me on the Star Sports show. Yes, Star Sports was broadcasting an event which I've just attended. I was attending that. That's going to be my next video in about half an hour from now, in which I'm going to tell you what Ravi Shastri, Ian Bell, Ross Taylor, Ricky Ponting and Wasim Akram, all of them were there. They were building up to the final. They've said some very interesting things about the conditions, which I'll do another video in about half an hour from now. This video is about the Indian team, the conditions at the Oval. As I said, nice, warm, good news going forward. Now coming back to what Rohit Sharma said at the press conference, because he was asked about his batting. So few things he mentioned. One, he said that I know what I need to do to succeed in England. That was very interesting from Rohit Sharma. He said that this is one place, and he's done well in the recent past playing in England. He said this is one place where you're never quite in. So most other places, when you're playing test cricket, once you get going, you get a few runs, then okay, you're seeing the ball well, and then you can play your strokes, and sometime you can lose your concentration because instincts will take you to a big total from there. Rohit said, I know very well this is not something you can do in England because you're never quite in England, which means you always have to keep focusing. As soon as you lose a bit of concentration, because the ball tends to do a lot for extended period of time, you can get out. So that's one thing, and that was great to hear from Rohit Sharma, which means he really understands. Don't go by the IPL form. He really understands what is the requirement for him in test cricket and what is it that he needs to do to succeed here. That's one thing he pointed. The other thing he said, he has been noticing a lot of players batting their videos and focusing on that, and then based on that figuring out what is the best way to succeed in England. So he said another very interesting bit. He says, Rohit, that I'm not trying to emulate them. I'm not trying to copy those players that have been doing well. I have my own style. I'll keep following that own style. Having said that, I've been seeing a few videos and noticing a few players, and which is that one way that they play here in England, especially at the Oval, and I'm focusing on that, and that's what I will do. So those were certain things that Rohit Sharma spoke about ahead of the game. Pat Cummins also seemed very confident. He was asked a question that, listen, Indian team have come from after playing a lot of cricket, because they played a lot of IPL. Yes, different format, but they played a lot of IPL and they are here. So they are in that sense in a flow. But a lot of your players are coming out of a long break, and Pat Cummins said, no, I like that. He said coming out of a long break is good. We hardly get any long breaks in international cricket. So coming off a long break is good for me, and I'm looking forward to playing well here. The only thing that I noticed in all the things that Pat Cummins and Rohit Sharma were saying, and maybe that will be music to the ears of all Indian fans, I felt that Rohit Sharma, also because they only have this one test match to look forward to, they've played a WTC final before, they know what is at stake, plus they're not playing any other series here, so their focus is on the WTC final. From Pat Cummins' conversation and things that he was saying, I had a feeling that they're not just looking at the WTC final, because he mentioned once or twice that we're looking at 6 test matches. Remember, they're playing the WTC final. Right after that, in Edgbaston starts the Ashes series, and you know how important and what relevance Ashes has for the Australian team as well as the English team. So he did talk about 6 test matches, and he mentioned it twice or thrice, if I'm not mistaken, in that conversation, which to me told me that their focus is not just on this one test match but to the Ashes series. Now you can view that 2 ways. For me, I think that can somehow lose focus on the importance of the WTC, because you're so focused on 6 test matches, you'll pace yourself. So you're like, okay, I don't have to do everything straight away. I have 6 test matches to go. So if I'm bowling or I'm batting, I'm going to gradually build up to playing those 6 test matches, which may be maybe a mistake that Australia might make, which may work in India's favor, because India is going to go all out. Australia, if you're going to pace yourself for 6 test matches, you could very well do very well in the Ashes series, but that might cost you the WTC final. That's the feeling I got. However, there's another way of looking at it. You might say that maybe if India is just concentrating on that one game, they could be over eager, they could be over excited, and sometimes over excitement costs you. Whereas if Australia are pacing themselves, they're taking it easy, looking at it at 6 test matches, maybe that may work in their favor. So you can see it both ways, but as I see it, I think the focus on 6 test matches might take some sort of intensity away from the WTC final for Australia, and that might just be good news for the Indian team. So that's all that's happened here in England on my day 1 of me landing, and just a reminder, I'm going to be live continuously on Sports Today with all the latest updates, just as I gave you this update. Maybe in another half an hour or so, I'm going to come live again. If you're joining me now, do check out all the details I've given about India's practice today and what all Rohit Sharma said and what his Pat Cummins said. But in about half an hour from now, I'm going to come live once again with some very fine details of the conditions and what one needs to do to succeed here. These were given by the likes of Ricky Ponting, Ian Bell, Ross Taylor, Ravi Shastri, Wasim Akram. I attended that event and they spoke about the WTC final, all the details of how they look at it coming your way very shortly. Meanwhile, here's a reminder, don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today, press that bell icon, because I'm going to be here through the duration of the test match. So every time there is an update, every time I go live, you'll get to know only if you press that bell icon. For the moment, Nikhil Nas signing off from London, from right outside the Oval Cricket Ground, which is here. This is the gate, this is the Hobbs Gate of the Oval Cricket Ground. Bye bye guys, see you soon in half an hour.